Hey guys, I feel like this is a video you do not want to miss. We're going to be going over a three-parter in Masteries, Offense, Defense and Support, starting with Offense today. So let's get into the video. Like I mentioned in the introduction, we're going to go over Masteries today. I'm going to drop this into three parts. Like I said, today we're going to cover offense. I'm also going to be dropping chapters down in the description, and if you just want to skip to certain points, you can. And I will be doing tier 1 and tier 2 together, and then tier 3, tier 4, tier 5 and tier 6. So getting into this, let's start off with the first tier. In honesty, for offense, I only consider one, and that is the critical rate, deadly precision. 99% of the time, you're always going to go this. The only time I can think of where you might have some reasons to take this is with bomb champions or poison explosion. Bear in mind, poison explosion, most content, it just doesn't exist right now. So even then, I would still probably take deadly precision, depending on what your gear is looking like. Okay, so let's start talking about tier 2, which is where it gets a bit more interesting, and then we'll work our way down to tier 7, which is where everyone kind of gets stuck with the most, really, and what I'm looking for with these. So obviously, just going back to offense. Offense is any champion that you want to do some damage, i.e. wherever you're part in the game, clan boss, arena, dungeons, doom tower, whatever. Like, offense is where you were doing damage. So obviously most masteries within the first rows are kind of similar, and this is also very subjective sometimes from the team synergy, and I'll get into that further into the video. Or sometimes it could deal with just a personal preference of what people like themselves, and you'll probably see that in more in defense with me more than anything in instead of from the offense, because normally offense I'm pretty self-explanatory normally. Take some of the coffee. So let's get into it then. Damage dealers, I'm mainly going to be talking about damage dealers a lot, and I'm going to go back to probably arena, clan boss, or because dungeons can be situational, because if it's up to 20 it'll be different. Again, I'll get into that. And then 25, certain dungeons like finite will be different from there as well. So again, I'll get into that into the video, but I'll mainly be situation, clan boss, arena builds, and clan boss, right? And Hydra as well, we'll include Hydra as well. So for example, Heart of Glory is probably a mastery you'll want to go with, whether you're kind of using for clan boss like lifesteal or counter attack or block damage, or somewhere that you're always keeping your health to the full where you're attacking, right? So you can always increase your damage here, which will be Heart of Glory. In a budget unkillable, for example, your HP always drops down, or any type of unkillable with man-eaters, your HP always drops down, and this then, Heart of Glory Mastery, doesn't become that good for you. So it's a small percentage of damage, but it does add up sometimes, that difference of a 1 key and a 2 key, or the 3 key and a 2 key. So make sure that we take in that consideration. This is the most common one on offense to take out of tier 2, and that's for the 10 critical damage. Obviously, your champions need the critical damage plus whatever stat they're going off, like if it's attack, HP or defense, for this to do the damage that they want to do. So this is probably like the main choose one. Normally you see Heart of Glory probably in clan boss more than anything, if it's outside budget unkillables or arena. Shield Breaker is kind of a very situational. The only time I really use this myself is mainly for like damage dealers for arena. And then even then, talking about team synergy, if it is a if I'm using like a strip champion like Masteries, and a lot of people use strip champions, this mastery then becomes not that good because you're stripping the shield before you do the damage, so you don't actually get that perk to your damage. So this one's a very situational one, but it can be useful. Grim Resolve is also something that doesn't get taken a lot, but it can be good with the right setup. And again, going back to man-eaters, for clan boss damage, you would be taking out the Grim Resolve on everyone. Okay, so just mainly, again, talking about this, I would say this is mainly a clan boss, and this is great. This is great in Hydra as well if you use like a Royal Guard strategy or something like that. Make sure, again, for like sort of like a bunch of killable, you don't take something like this on your slow boy, but anyone else within that comp, this is a great like built-in mini lifesteal kind of thing. So I do really like this mastery for certain things. If you're struggling for survivability and you use a ninja or something like that, then maybe you could swap out to this and see if this will do you any good. Again, this is good on probably some really good rotations on Blue Tower as well. Depending on the comp and as well who else you're using. If you've got like healers or something like that, then you could feel that this could actually do more damage than good to your offense. And then single out is actually quite common again. Clan boss, it's increasing damage inflicted to targets with less than 40% HP. So do I take this in arena a lot? Not really. I don't really use this a lot myself, but again, for clan boss, I do believe it's on some of my clan boss champions. Just again for basic damage and stuff like that. It's not a really well used one outside that sense. This one is kind of interesting. This is a difficult to want to kind of take because it gives you increased speed. So with some things like solo and stuff, it's a very good mastery to have. But also for like arena, it can really save your bacon sometimes. You know, if you're a nuker, if your whole team dies, like Leo for example, this could be really interesting to have. But again, be careful with speed tuning and stuff like that, because it could cause you some trouble, especially like for dungeon speed tuning and stuff like that. Where like if your Seer kills too many people, she'll then jump maybe before your Kaimar, right? So again, think about this one, but it's basically you want your damage dealer to gain more speed after they've started killing targets. It's not really used for arena because you're hoping after your nuke is gone anyway that your team is dead, right? Or their team is dead. So you wouldn't really take this because it's like a second rotation ability, so it's more used for dungeons and stuff like that. Again, depend on the champion and on your comp if you take this or not. Just take that into consideration. Hold on, have I done? Yep, this one. That's what we just spoke about. Okay, Ruthless Ambush. Ruthless Ambush is probably the first one you take on this tier when it comes to arena. It just allows you to do more damage. Again, we just spoke about it. It increases damage by 8% on the first hit. We're talking about it for arena, mainly specifically. You want to kill them within the first time if you're nuker going. If you're not, then this is where the next one then gives you some added benefits if you get some kills in. So yeah, Ruthless Ambush, mainly arena. It's not really a clan boss or anything like that, because that's more about duration and long term. So again, try to think about with masteries how many turns you're going to have within your time set limit. So for arena, it's normally over 30 seconds, so you'll take Ruthless Ambush for that bonus damage over like something like single out, which is probably more long term, like over 50 runs and stuff. This one gets a bit more complicated now to kind of explain, because we're going to talk about this one in a minute, and we're going to get back to that one in a second. So increase damage by 6% when attacking targets with higher HP. This could be a really good one. So like for example, Duchess are mainly built in arena with high HP than your nuker, so it allows you to benefit this with 6%. Clan Boss always has high HP, so again, you know, to take that over this for this one, it's mainly known as a Clan Boss Mastery, or again Hydra Mastery. That's why you see it kind of used a lot with that one. Again, it's not really like Arena Mastery, but my Arena Mastery is a bit situational because I'm on Kaimar, and I'm going to get into that in 5 minutes or so, and kind of go into that a bit more depth. So yeah, bring it down is mainly, again, morely like how many turns you get within your cycle. So again, if we go back to Clan Boss, if we go back to Clan Boss, you get your 50 turns with your Killable, your 30 turns with your counter-attack team. This would give you more damage over a long period of time than it would be in short. Increase the damage by 5% for each dead ally, stacks up to 10%. So if you have 2 dead allies, you'll get the 10% bonus. And again, where do I really take this? Again, for Inkillables, you don't really get any dead allies. It wouldn't make any sense to get this. Normally this is like it's like the one you take where you have no options to take really. If I'm honest, or arena, right? You could take this for arena. I suppose with certain champions, if the other tier in this comp that you get, then I'd probably take this because this one would make more sense to me. But again, this one's very situational. It's not the best masteries, but it can give you a bit more damage in the right circumstances. A lot of people use this on arena champions. A lot of people use this in the champions that you want to rotate your abilities back for, like Hydra, if you want a HP burn to come back for your Geo, or try to get a cooldown reduction on a random skill, like a Royal Guard for its takedown, etc, etc. This is a good ability to have, and it has a 30% chance of decreasing the cooldown of a random skill by 1 turn. If the damage is inflicted by a skill, it sees 30% of the target's HP, occurs once per turn, so it's like a cooldown. It kind of works on a smaller scale of reflex. So if you're not using, let's talk about Royal Guard, right? If you don't use as A3, then you're more likely to get this a proc as A2. Just kind of consider that when you take this mastery. For Hydra, I do recommend taking this. For Clan Boss, if you want like your certain damage ability, for like Ninja for example, on his A2s, his highest hit, right, you would take this, try and get that back and get a cooldown on that. But it is a random skill, so if you don't use the skill on one of their kits because it's not strong, then you could kind of take this into consideration. Okay, Optimistic is an interesting one because it's normally an arena one, but it can be used in like Doom Tower as well, and dungeons. Again, if increases the damage inflicted to targets with sleep, stun, fear, true fear, freeze, and whatever this is, debuff by 12%. I'm really disappointed it hasn't got AoE provokes. I think this does need to be updated with AoE provokes because a lot of people do use AoE provokes in arena. But for example, with probably about all my nukers now that I rebuild, I always take this because I don't know if I'm going to use Kaimar or not, but if I do use Kaimar, I feel that this is a great addition. So if you always running Kaimar, you're swapping them out in your 3 vs 3, or anyone that buys a True Fear, or like Jack Harvest, or someone that puts fears up, or someone that puts stuns up, like Misgrade Monster, you can get more bonus to that with your damage dealer. So again, taking on this mastery is highly recommended, and even if you don't always use sleep, but you do 90% of the time, so just take this. Even if you just use the sleep like 5% of the time or 10% of the time, then you can also, I will still also take this. methodology. Yeah, I think that's how we pronounce it. It increases the damage inflicted by his champion's default skill. So default skill, I think, would be the A1, right? 2% each time it is used during battle. Stacks across each round in a battle up to 10%. So I don't actually know if this one resets its cooldown, the stack itself, by the end of the round. It's mainly used in clan boss, and I think the default skill is the A1, right? So like people that have hard hitting A1s like Trundle and stuff, this is mainly what people would normally take, right? Like I'm pretty sure it's on my Trundle, and I think a lot of people take it in clan boss as well and in Hydra. So interesting one. Let me know down in the comments actually if that actually resets in rounds, or it just stacks. The one that gets to 10%, it kind of stops and stacking then, because it says it does only go up to 10%. So let me know down in comments. Kill Stake is a good one. It's mainly again arena one because increases the damage inflicted by 6% in arena. So you do get a big bonus with that, and then 3% in all other locations for each enemy that's killed by his champion in battle. So again, going back to the other one, this doesn't really come into effect until this kills someone, and then it kind of stacks, right? It says it stacks across each round in a battle up to 12%. So if you get 2 kills in arena, that's cool. But in dungeons, you'd have to get 4 kills. While in arena, you don't have to get 2, right, to get the 12%. So this is a really well-known one for arena. Blood Shield is very situational. This is when you will get a shield on your damage dealer from the damage it inflicts to an enemy, I believe. Place a shield on its debuff for 1 turn when this champion kills an enemy. The total value of the shield is equivalent to the 50% of this champion's max HP. So I think this is actually going from the HP of the target. I don't use this mastery at all for a lot because I don't feel that it's a very situational one, and normally with all type of content I take different masteries, so I'm not too sure, and again let me know down in comments, but I feel some people do use this on damage dealers. I couldn't think of a damage dealer off the top of my head for arena where I'd use this, but I have seen it. I don't know, maybe we're undervaluing this one, but again I'm only because I use Kaimar a lot, right? So my masteries are built to do with team synergy with Kaimar, and that's a different conversation for a different day, right? But I'm pretty sure this will just give you a shield from either the damage that it inflicts to an enemy, or a champion kills an enemy. So it has to kill an enemy, and then it gives you the shield of the HP. Okay, that makes sense. So if I kill a target, I have this, then I'm going to get a 50% shield on me for 1 turn from my max HP. So if you got a tap based nuker, you're not going to get much shield, and I can't, unless it's a huge shield, I don't recommend it in all honesty. Maybe a Mountain King you would take this or something like that. Stoke of Fury, again, a very situational. Most people would take this with Top right. I couldn't really think where you would use this a lot, but it's basically increases damage inflicted by 4% for each debuff on this champion. Stacks it to 12%. So I suppose if you're building a Go second team, right, and you want your damage dealer to do some damage, then you would take this one, because if you get some debuffs on you, then you could take this to do more damage. I don't recommend going down that route. I would normally just stick with the other masteries, and because generally when I use Go second teams, I've got like cleansers or block buffs or something like that, so then this doesn't come into effect. This is why people use Talk right to put the poisons on itself to give you more damage to get the 12%. Okay, so we're going to go into the tier 6, and all these masteries are different. I'm going to start with Flawless this time because this one's the very basic to understand. People that mainly use this are mainly for campaign farmers or champions with doing damage from enemy max HP, which is like Cold Heart, Septimus, Calvalax, there's A2 I believe, or something like that, right? So they take the 20% extra damage, and this is again normally in dungeons like 20 and down, because most dungeons now people will take a War Master instead. Mainly with, I think that's got to actually be Fire Knights, right? And again, farmers as well. In Arena, when you're first starting off in the game, a lot of people take this for more consistency over Hound Smasher if you're using critical rate gloves, and if the critical damage is not that high. Normally, if I'm packing like 250 critical damage, then I'd always take Hound Smasher for Arena. And that's how I kind of tell the difference between the two when I use Flawless Execution or Hound Smasher, and that kind of just breaks off then where I would use them. So for Farmer, I'd go with Flawless Execution. For Arena, endgame, you'd always take Hound Smasher, always. And you should be using critical damage gloves by that time, so when you get to a certain amount of critical damage, you're then not maxing out the full damage potential, and then that's where you want to start ignoring defense and stuff like that. I want to go over Cold Heart and Septimus. You can use Hound Smasher, but you will have to bear in mind Hound Smasher has less likely chance to proc and Flawless Execution, which is why I always take over the two for myself, is for consistency. Giant Slayer then. So Giant Slayer is like has a 30% chance of increasing the damage when attacking. Bonus damage is acquired to 7.5% of the target champion max HP, or 3% of the target's max HP when attacking bosses. Bonus damage can occur on each hit of a skill, but does not count as a extra hit. So this one myself, damage based on enemy max HP. So this one is situational. It's mainly a clan boss or a Hydra boss, or just trying to think where else I'd use it, or Doomtower bosses, right? Depending on the champion's kit. So Brognan the Priest should take this on as passive. He's building to do damage because of the reflex. I mean, a lot of people used to take this on Geomancer at some point, but they stopped taking that now. They take Warmask because it got nerfed or buffed, or whatever you want to say how it is. Samuel has like a free hitter, which people will not take him as well for if they want them to do damage. And Razan Skyhides as well, because he has many multi-hitters on an A1. He does a lot of damage. So normally, if you're judging this, you would go and you'd look at the A1 and see what A1 does, and see what the rest of the hit. If it's like many multi-hits like Razan, then you would normally take Giant Slayer over War Master, right? But War Master is considered to be consistent. So like champions with like a one default skill that only goes once, you would always take War Master, and that would always be more consistent. So you have to be careful if you take War Master or Giant Slayer, depending on your champions. And these two are mainly clan boss related or bosses related. So like dungeons, Fire Knights and stuff like that, 25, not talking about 20. But like 25, and Doomtower bosses as well, like Griffin, etc, etc. Now Hound Smasher is like more in-game. This is like your built-in Savage, and if this procs, so it has a 50% chance of ignoring 25% defense. So you have a 50% chance, so out of 100%. So you got 4 people there, you might proc on 2 of them, right? Consistently. You're not always gonna get this on everyone. For skills that ignore defense, this 25% chance of additional amount of damage ignored by the skill. This does stack on Savage and Crawl as well, and any of the sets that ignore defense. One point to notice out is if you judge champions like Faceless and stuff, you wouldn't take this because he ignores 100% defense. So if the champion is ignoring quite a bit of defense or 100% defense, you wouldn't take this. You would then take Flawless Execution, because that then would help build up that critical damage to do that multiplier. I think that's about it. Let me know if I missed anything down in the comments. I hope you liked this video about me going to the offense. We will be doing support in the next couple of days and defense in the next couple of days, where we'll go over more information. Please let me know in the comments what you also would like to see in future content. And yeah, I hope you, if you could hit that notification bell, like and subscribe and comment on the video, I'll be more than happy. Until then, I will see you when I see you, and yeah, enjoy the rest of your weekend.